Hi Year 3 and welcome to Tuesday morning's maths lesson. Today we will be finding a quarter of an amount, and as you've already done halves and thirds, I think a lot of this will be quite familiar for you. But just to reiterate what Mr. Kellum said last week, your times tables really does help you when we're doing fractions, and all that quick recall knowledge that you learn on TT Rockstars will be really good for you to help you with your fractions. Now, I know lots of you have been using some practical equipment, and that is fantastic. As I said, we've had chocolate biscuits, we've had cushions, we've had Lego, we've had cars, coloured pencils, so anything that you've got that you can use to help you with your fractions, that is absolutely fantastic. Some of you though now might be starting to think, actually, I don't need the practical equipment because I can see the links that we're making in the actual written work, and that is fantastic as well, because that shows us that you're really getting that deeper knowledge and that deeper understanding of what you need to be doing when you are finding fractions of an amount. So we will start today by having a look at the learning objective that we're going to do in the success criteria. So as it says, we are going to find a quarter of an amount. And to be successful today, we will be able to use manipulatives, and that's just a really posh word for things in our hand. Okay, so it's just a really posh word for practical equipment, okay, to use quarters. And that we will know by the end of this lesson that if you divide a whole by 4, that is how you will find a quarter of amount. So once again, it's using that word divide. So that is using our times table, and our multiplication knowledge will really help us with this. Okay, so I want you to have a look at this first picture. And it says, share the eggs equally between 4 baskets, then complete the stem sentence. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch this little video that I did with Skittles and bowls, but it's the same thing. Now, the first thing to know is, how many Skittles do I need? How many things am I sharing equally? Let's have a count. So we've got 12 things to share equally. Okay, so let's have a look what I did in my video. Okay, so I shared my Skittles out. Don't tell the young Pledger boys that I've been using their sweets for my maths. But I shared my Skittles out into 4 different bowls. So I shared them, I made them into quarters, because remember, if we're writing our fraction, our numerator is 1 and our denominator is 4. So let's have a look. So the eggs are split into how many equal parts? We've already talked about that. The eggs are split into 4 equal parts because we are looking at quarters. Each part is therefore worth a quarter. And how do we write that? We write it as 1 out of 4. Okay, and we know if we're using our fractions and it's got a 4 on the bottom, we don't say fourths, we say quarter. So each part can be written as 1 quarter. So each of those bowls was a quarter of 12. So here we go. Here we've got another one. Okay, it says circle 1/4 of the socks. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another video where I divided these socks into quarters. Okay, so I've collected the right amount of socks from around the Pleasure household, and I'm now going to split them into 4 equal groups because we are looking at quarters. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's my 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we have a look, have we got the same amount in every single group? So we know that they are equal, and how many is 1/4 of 8? Okay, so as you can see there, 1/4 of 8 is how many? And hopefully you are all shouting back to Mrs. Pledger at me. So if we look at that, 1/4 of 8 is 2, and therefore 2 is 1/4 of 8. Okay, and if we're looking at our times tables and we've got our times table knowledge, we're looking at how many 4s are there in 8, and we know there are 2 4s in 8. So this is where our times table knowledge is really going to help us. Okay, this is your do it. So this is where you're going to have a go at doing these, and then we will come back and we will have a look and see how we have done. And what I'm going to do is you pause this, and then I'm going to stop sharing so I can show you on the board behind me. So pause this, have a go at your do it's, and then we will have a look at the right answers. Okay, so hopefully you've had time and you've paused your video and had a go at those. So the first one was 1/2 of 8. Okay, so we are looking for 1/2 of 8. Okay, so how many groups are we going to split our numbers into? How many groups have we got if we are splitting into 1/2? Well, we're going to split them because our denominator is 2, so we are going to split it into 2 groups. Okay, and we have a total amount of 8, so we're going to split it up into 1/2 of 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we split it up and we're looking at 1/2. Okay, we are looking at 1/2. So how many is in 1/2 of 8? And hopefully you will have written that 1/2 of 8 equals 4. Okay, well done. Okay, and remember, you can show me this with cars, you can show me this with Lego, you can show me that. Maybe we'll have to give a shout out to the people who can be the most inventive with their manipulatives for their fractions. Okay, so the next one is 1/4 of 8. Okay, so if we're looking at 1/4 of 8, that's really shining badly, isn't it, on there today? Okay, if it's 1/4 of 8, bring that closer a little bit, see if that helps. There we go. So 1/4 of 8, so our denominator is 4, so we are splitting our number into 4 groups. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we are sharing 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our answer, 1/4 of 8 equals 2, because we are looking at 1/4. Okay, 1/4 of 8 equals 2. Okay, we also know that our 2 lots of 4 make 8, so we can check our answers. Okay, and next to it was half of 12. So half of 12. So, oh, half of 12. Half of 12. There we go. That looks a bit better, doesn't it? So how many groups are we splitting that into? We are splitting it into 2 groups. Okay. And we have 12. So I'm going to split my 12 up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're looking at 1/2. So my answer is what? Year 3. Hopefully you have all written half of 12 equals 6. So this is going back to the numbers that you were working with last week and the fractions that you were doing last week, isn't it? So the last one for our do it is 1/4 of 12. Now some of you may have looked straight at that, okay, and said, I know how many 4s are in 3, but it's really good to be able to prove your answer. And sometimes when we're in class, we might say, well, that's great, prove it to us. So this is how you would prove it. So how many are we sharing that? We are sharing it into quarters. So we have 4 groups. And how many have we got? We have got 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We want to know 1/4. So 1/4 of 12 is what, year 3? It is absolutely 3. And we can also check because we know 4 lots of 3 equals 12. Okay, so that is your do it for the day. We'll just knit back on and have a look at the other tasks. Not moving. Okay, so your secure it for today is Harry is thinking of a number. What could the number be? 1/4 of my number is an even number less than 8. Now on this one, there may be more than one right answer. Okay, so have a think. This is a bit of a problem solving and reasoning question. So have a look because there may be more than one answer. And you're deep in it today. You need to tell us whether Freya is correct or not. And it's got that important word there, which is explain. And remember, when we say explain, we want to know why Freya is correct, or we want to know why Freya isn't correct. So that important word of because when you are writing your sentences. So there we go, year 3. That is your maths for a Tuesday. Any problems, then get in touch with us and ask us. But I am sure that because you've done your halves and because you've done your thirds, I think you will be able to whiz through this. So have a good day, year 3.